In today's video, we will listen an audiobook of a part of gaining success in life, which is self-discipline. In the quiet moments of our lives when distractions fade and we are left alone with our thoughts, many of us come face with a sobering reality, despite the dreams we once held tightly to and the ambitions that once lit our path, we find ourselves drifting. Success feels elusive and fulfillment seems out of reach. Why is it that some people seem to turn their dreams into reality, while others remain stuck feeling like their potential is slipping through their fingers? The answer often lies not in external circumstances, but in something far more personal: self-discipline. This concept may sound simple, but its power to shape lives is profound. Self-discipline is not about denying ourselves pleasure or living a life of restriction. Rather, it is the ability to make conscious, deliberate choices that align with our long-term goals and deepest values, even when immediate temptations pull us in the opposite direction. At its core, self-discipline is the bridge between dreams and reality. It's what separates those who achieve their goals from those who let their ambitions fade away. Think of any successful individual in any field. What sets them apart is not luck or talent alone. It is their ability to stay focused, remain committed, and take persistent action, regardless of the obstacles they face or the distractions that try to lure them off course. They have mastered the art of discipline, but self-discipline is often misunderstood. Many associate it with rigid routines or joyless sacrifice. However, true self-discipline is empowering. It gives you control over your life and allows you to build the future you desire step by step. It is not about forcing yourself to be perfect or punishing yourself for failures. Instead, it is about recognizing that every choice you make either brings you closer to your goals or pulls you further away. Self-discipline doesn't happen overnight. It is a practice, one that requires patience, persistence, and a willingness to confront the areas of your life where you may be falling short. It is the quiet force that pushes you to get up early, to work on your goals, to say no to distractions, and to keep moving forward even when the path is difficult. And while it may seem hard at first, the rewards of cultivating discipline are immense: greater clarity, more confidence, and the ability to create a life that is truly aligned with your dreams. As we embark on this journey together, you will discover the hidden power of self-discipline and how it can transform every area of your life. Whether you're striving to reach a personal goal, break a bad habit, or simply find more purpose in your daily life, self-discipline is the key to unlocking your full potential. Let's dive in and uncover the secret to mastering this vital skill. Self-discipline is often seen as something external, a force we apply to control our actions. However, its true nature runs much deeper. It starts from within. At its core, self-discipline is about aligning your actions with your values, goals, and aspirations, even when it's difficult or inconvenient. It's the foundation upon which all success is built, yet it's often overlooked or misunderstood. Many people think of discipline as a form of punishment, a set of rigid rules that restrict freedom and creativity. In reality, it's quite the opposite. Self-discipline is the very thing that grants us freedom. When you have the discipline to make choices that are in line with your goals, you free yourself from the chaos and unpredictability of living purely by impulse. It's the ability to take control of your own destiny rather than being tossed around by circumstances or fleeting emotions. The first step in understanding self-discipline is realizing that it's not something you're born with. It's a skill that anyone can cultivate. It doesn't matter if you've struggled with procrastination or inconsistency in the past. What matters is your willingness to start small and build this skill over time. Like any other skill, self-discipline improves with practice, and the more you commit to it, the more natural it becomes to develop this skill. You need to begin with self-awareness. This is a foundation of self-discipline because it helps you understand your habits, triggers, and behaviors. Take a moment to reflect on your life. What are the areas where you feel stuck? What habits are holding you back from achieving your goals? Often the greatest obstacles to self-discipline are not external, but internal. It could be a lack of confidence, fear of failure, or a tendency to prioritize short-term comfort over Long-term success, once you identify these patterns, the next step is to clarify your goals. Without clear objectives, discipline has no direction. Think of your goals as the destination and discipline as the road that will take you there. The clearer your goals, the easier it becomes to maintain discipline. Vague aspirations like "I want to be successful" or "I want to be healthier" don't provide enough structure for discipline to take root. Instead, set specific, measurable goals that give you a clear target to aim for. For example, if your goal is to get in better shape, decide how much weight you want to lose or how many days a week you'll exercise. If your goal is to start a business, break it down into smaller milestones, like developing a business plan, securing funding, or launching a website. Each small achievement reinforces the habit of discipline, making it easier to stay on track. One of the keys to maintaining self-discipline is to focus on consistency over intensity. Many people fall into the trap of setting overly ambitious goals only to burn out after a short burst of effort. The truth is, self-discipline is not about grand gestures. It's about the small, consistent actions that you take every day. It's waking up a little earlier to work on your goals. It's saying no to distractions and prioritizing what truly matters. Over time, these small actions compound, leading to significant progress. Self-discipline also requires learning to manage your emotions. Emotions are powerful, and they can either fuel your discipline or derail it. For example, stress or boredom can often lead to procrastination or unhealthy habits. Learning how to recognize and manage these emotions is crucial for staying disciplined. Techniques like mindfulness, journaling, or deep breathing can help you stay grounded and focused even when emotions threaten to throw you off course. Another important aspect of self-discipline is the ability to delay gratification. In today's world, we are constantly surrounded by temptations that offer instant rewards, whether it's checking social media, binge watching a TV series, or indulging in junk food. While these activities may bring short-term pleasure, they often come at the expense of long-term fulfillment. Discipline is about learning to resist these immediate temptations in favor of greater rewards down the road. This ability to delay gratification is not something that comes naturally. It's something you can train over time. One way to do this is by setting up small rewards for yourself after completing tasks that require discipline. For instance, if you need to finish a work project, promise yourself a small treat or break once the task is done. This helps to rewire your brain to associate discipline with positive outcomes, making it easier to stay focused. It's also essential to recognize that self-discipline is not about perfection. Many people believe that once they've developed discipline, they will never face temptation or setbacks. Again, this is simply not true. Even the most disciplined individuals experience moments of weakness or failure. The difference is that they don't allow these setbacks to derail their progress. They acknowledge the slip-up, learn from it, and get back on track. This is where self-compassion comes into play. When you stumble, don't beat yourself up. Instead, treat yourself with kindness and understanding. Discipline is a journey, not a destination, and there will inevitably be bumps along the way. The key is to keep moving forward even when things don't go perfectly. Finally, one of the most powerful ways to strengthen self-discipline is by creating an environment that supports your goals. Your surroundings, both physical and social, play a significant role in shaping your behavior. If you surround yourself with distractions or people who don't share your ambitions, staying disciplined becomes much harder. On the other hand, if you create a space that promotes focus and productivity and surround yourself with like-minded individuals who encourage your growth, discipline becomes almost effortless. Take a look at your environment. Is it helping or hindering your discipline? If you're trying to focus on a project, clear your workspace of clutter and distractions. If you're trying to build healthier habits, stock your kitchen with nutritious foods and remove temptations. In the same way, evaluate your social circle. Are the people around you supporting your goals, or are they encouraging behaviors that undermine your discipline? Sometimes making changes in your environment is the first step toward building lasting discipline. In the end, self-discipline is the key to unlocking your full potential. It is not about being perfect or rigid. It's about making choices that serve your long-term goals, even when those choices are hard by cultivating. Self-awareness, setting clear goals, and creating an environment that supports your ambitions. You can develop the discipline needed to transform your life. The power of self-discipline lies not in grand acts of willpower, but in the small, consistent actions that lead to lasting success. As we continue to explore the power of self-discipline, it's essential to understand the core elements that build and sustain it. Developing self-discipline is like constructing a house. Each part must be carefully crafted and built upon a solid foundation, and each step in the process plays a critical role in the overall success. Without the proper building block, even the best laid plans can collapse under pressure. So what are the fundamental components of self-discipline? It all starts with self-awareness. Self-awareness is the foundation on which discipline stands, because it gives you the clarity to understand your behaviors, emotions, and thought patterns. When you become more self-aware, you can begin to identify the triggers and habits that either propel you toward your goals or push you away from them. Without this clarity, you may find yourself repeatedly making choices that sabotage your progress, often without even realizing why. Developing self-awareness requires you to pause and reflect on your daily actions. Ask yourself, what are the moments when I tend to lose focus? What habits do I engage in that distract me from my goals? By regularly checking in with yourself, you gain insight into the areas of your life where discipline is lacking and where it can be strengthened. It's not just about identifying weaknesses, it's about recognizing your strengths too. Self-awareness allows you to build on what's already working and refine the areas that need improvement. The next critical step in building discipline is goal setting. Having clear, actionable goals is crucial because they give your discipline a direction and purpose. Without a clear destination in mind, even the strongest discipline can falter. When you set goals, you're giving yourself a target to aim for, something that can inspire and motivate you to take consistent action. However, it's not enough to set vague or lofty goals. You need to break them down into specific, achievable steps. For instance, if your goal is to improve your physical health, simply saying, I want to be healthier, won't give you a clear path to follow. Instead, break it down into smaller, measurable goals like exercising 3 times a week, eating more whole foods, or getting 8 hours of sleep each night. These specific goals help guide your actions and give you something concrete to work toward. As you achieve each small milestone, you build momentum, and that momentum strengthens your discipline over time. Habits are another key building block of discipline. While motivation can be fleeting, habits are what keep you moving forward even when motivation wanes. A well-established habit requires less mental energy and willpower because it becomes automatic over time. The more you rely on habits to guide your daily actions, the less you need to rely on fleeting bursts of motivation. The beauty of habits is that they allow you to maintain consistency without having to constantly fight the temptation to stray from your goals. For example, if you make a habit of exercising at the same time every morning, it becomes part of your routine, and you no longer need to muster up willpower every time the routine takes over, and discipline becomes second nature. However, building new habits can be challenging, as especially when it requires you to break old, unproductive patterns. That's where the importance of small, incremental changes comes into play. Don't try to overhaul your entire life in one day. Instead, start small. If your goal is to read more, start by committing to reading just 10 minutes a day. As this small habit becomes ingrained, you can gradually increase the time. The key is consistency, not perfection. Another powerful tool for building self-discipline is managing your environment. Often we underestimate the influence our surroundings have on our behaviors. If your environment is filled with distractions, it becomes much harder to stay disciplined. On the other hand, if your surroundings are designed to support your goals, discipline becomes much easier to maintain. For example, if you're trying to cut back on screen time, but your phone is always within reach, it's tempting to grab it every time you feel a twinge of boredom. To support your discipline, you can adjust your environment by placing your phone in another room or using apps that limit your screen time. If you're trying to eat healthier, stock your pantry with nutritious foods and remove junk food From your home, by designing an environment that supports your goals, you create a space where discipline can thrive naturally. Accountability is another powerful component of self-discipline. When we hold ourselves accountable, or better yet, when someone else holds us accountable, we're far more likely to follow through on our commitments. This can take the form of a friend, mentor, or even a simple tracking system where you document your progress. When you share your goals with someone or make them public, there's an added layer of motivation to stay disciplined, because you don't want to let yourself or others down. The concept of delayed gratification is also essential in cultivating self-discipline. In a world of instant rewards, learning to delay gratification can feel like swimming upstream, but the ability to resist immediate temptations in favor of long-term rewards is one of the hallmarks of discipline. This might mean forgoing an hour of TV to work on a personal project, or resisting the urge to splurge on unnecessary purchases in order to save for a more meaningful investment down the road. Learning to delay gratification isn't about depriving yourself. It's about training your brain to focus on the bigger picture. It's about understanding that the satisfaction you gain from achieving your long-term goals far outweighs the fleeting pleasure of an impulse decision. The more you practice delaying gratification, the stronger your discipline becomes. Lastly, emotional resilience plays a vital role in sustaining self-discipline. Life is filled with challenges, setbacks, and moments of frustration. It's easy to stay disciplined when things are going smoothly, but true discipline is tested during times of adversity. When you encounter setbacks, whether personal, professional, or emotional, your ability to bounce back and continue on your path is what separates success from failure. Emotional resilience is about learning to manage stress, frustration, and disappointment without allowing these emotions to derail your progress. It's about understanding that setbacks are part of the journey and that they don't define your ability to succeed. By cultivating resilience, you create a mental buffer that allows you to stay disciplined even when life throws unexpected challenges your way. In essence, self-discipline is not a single trait, but a combination of several interconnected elements. By cultivating self-awareness, setting clear goals, building habits, managing your environment, embracing accountability, learning to delay gratification, and developing emotional resilience, you create a solid foundation for long-term discipline. Each of these elements reinforces the others, creating a cycle of positive behaviors that propel you closer to your goals. When you master these building blocks, discipline becomes less about willpower and more about living a life that is aligned with your highest music aspirations. It's important to address one of the most common and frustrating obstacles people face: procrastination. Almost everyone has experienced the urge to put off important tasks, often for distractions that provide temporary relief but leave you feeling guilty and further behind. Procrastination is one of the most significant enemies of discipline, and overcoming it requires understanding why it happens and how to combat it. Procrastination isn't simply about laziness or poor time management. It often stems from deeper emotional and psychological triggers. One of the most common reasons people procrastinate is the fear of a failure. When you are faced with a task that feels challenging or overwhelming, your brain often wants to protect you from the discomfort of potential failure. So instead of tackling the task, you seek out distractions that offer a quick boost of pleasure or relief, like scrolling through social media or binge watching a show. But the longer you put off the task, the larger and more daunting it seems, creating a cycle that's difficult to break. Another reason for procrastination is perfectionism. Many people delay starting a task because they want everything to be perfect from the outset. The fear of not being able to meet those high standards leads to avoidance. In reality, waiting for the perfect moment or for everything to be just right often results in nothing getting done at all. To overcome procrastination, the first step is to recognize when it's happening and acknowledge the emotions driving it. Self-awareness, as discussed earlier, is crucial in identifying the moments when procrastination starts to creep in. Once you recognize the pattern, it's essential to break the task down into smaller, more manageable parts. This makes the task seem less overwhelming and gives you a clear starting point when a task feels too large. Your mind tends to view it as impossible, but breaking it into smaller steps creates achievable goals that build momentum. For instance, if you have a big project, instead of focusing on the enormity of the entire task, start by dedicating just 10 or 15 minutes to it. Often the hardest part is simply getting started. Once you take that first step, it becomes easier to keep going. The key is to focus on progress, not perfection, except that the first the first attempt or the first effort may not be flawless, and that's okay. Discipline is about consistent action, not perfection. Another effective strategy for overcoming procrastination is setting clear deadlines, even for tasks that don't have external time limits. When you leave tasks open-ended, it's easy to push them to the back of your mind. However, setting specific deadlines creates a sense of urgency and gives you something to work toward. To strengthen this practice, consider sharing your deadlines with someone else. This adds a layer of accountability, making it more likely that you'll follow through. It's also important to create a routine that minimizes opportunities for procrastination. We are creatures of habit, and once a behavior becomes ingrained in your daily routine, it requires less mental effort to maintain. For example, if you find that you often procrastinate on your fitness goals, create a routine where exercising at a specific time of day becomes a non-negotiable part of your schedule. The more consistent your routine, the less room there is for procrastination to sneak in. Discipline is not just about managing your actions, but also about managing your emotions. Learning to master your emotional states is a powerful tool in overcoming procrastination and maintaining discipline. When you feel overwhelmed or stressed, it's easy to reach for distractions as a way to numb those feelings. But instead of avoiding the task at hand, practice techniques like mindfulness or deep breathing to calm your mind and refocus your energy. Mindfulness is particularly effective because it teaches you to stay present in the moment without judgment. Often, when we procrastinate, we're focused on the future, on the fear of failure, or the enormity of what lies ahead. Mindfulness helps you bring your attention back to the present task, allowing you to focus on what you can do right now rather than getting lost in worry about what might go wrong. Another crucial element in sustaining self-discipline and avoiding procrastination is learning how to manage distractions, especially in today's hyper-connected world. Whether it's the constant barrage of notifications, social media, or even the lure of multitasking, distractions are everywhere. To strengthen your discipline, you need to create an environment that minimizes these distractions. This might mean setting specific times during the day when you check emails or messages, using apps that block distracting websites during work hours, or simply turning off notifications on your phone. Multitasking is another pitfall that can hinder discipline. While it may seem like doing several things at once is more productive, research shows that multitasking actually reduces your efficiency and focus. When you constantly switch between tasks, your brain has to refocus each time, which can drain mental energy and lead to mistakes. To cultivate discipline, focus on doing one thing at a time with full attention. This not only increases the quality of your work, but also helps build the habit of concentrated effort, which is essential for long-term success. Self-compassion is a vital part of sustaining discipline. Over the long term, many people believe that self-discipline means being hard on themselves when they slip up or don't meet their goals. However, research has shown that self-compassion, treating yourself with kindness and understanding when you fail, actually leads to greater resilience and motivation. Beating yourself up for procrastinating or not following through on a task doesn't foster discipline. It fosters guilt and self-doubt, which can erode your willpower over time. Instead, practice self-compassion by acknowledging that setbacks are a normal part of the process. When you stumble, don't dwell on the mistake, learn from it, and move forward. Remember that discipline is about progress, not perfection, and every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. Another way to sustain discipline is to find your why. When you connect your actions to a deeper purpose, discipline becomes much easier to maintain. Ask yourself why your goals matter to you. Is it to improve your health, build a better future for your family, or fulfill a lifelong dream. When your discipline is driven by a purpose greater than the task itself, you are more likely to push through challenges and stay committed even when the going gets tough. Ultimately, discipline is not about avoiding discomfort. It's about learning to embrace it. Growth happens outside your comfort zone, and self-discipline is the tool that allows you to navigate that space with confidence. By mastering the art of discipline, you gain the power to overcome procrastination, manage distractions, and stay focused on what truly matters in your life. And the more you practice, the more natural and effortless discipline becomes, turning it from a challenge into a way of life. Maintaining self-discipline is not a one-time effort. It requires ongoing commitment and strategies that help you sustain it over the long term. While building discipline is challenging, keeping it alive and strong, especially during difficult times, can be even harder. This is where understanding how to sustain self-discipline comes into play. It's not just about developing habits or overcoming procrastination. It's about creating systems that ensure your discipline remains steady regardless of external circumstances or internal challenges. One of the most powerful tools for sustaining self-discipline is establishing a consistent routine. Routines provide structure, and structure simplifies decision-making. When you have a routine in place, you don't have to expend mental energy deciding when or how to do something. Instead, you follow the path you've already set for yourself. This predictability makes it easier to maintain focus and discipline. Think about how athletes train. They don't wake up every morning and decide whether or not they're going to practice. They have a set routine that includes training, rest, and nutrition. This removes the option of skipping practice or making excuses. The same principle applies to any area of your life where you want to maintain discipline, whether it's working on a personal project, improving your health, or building a new skill. Having a routine takes the decision making out of the equation. You no longer have to rely on willpower alone because the routine supports your actions. A well-designed routine should include a balance of work, rest, and self-care. Many people overlook the importance of rest, but burnout is one of the biggest threats to sustain discipline. If you push yourself too hard without taking time to recharge, you'll eventually run out of energy and motivation. Incorporating regular breaks and downtime into your routine helps prevent burnout and keeps you mentally and physically refreshed. This, in turn, allows you to maintain discipline over the long term. Accountability is another key factor in sustaining self-discipline. When you hold yourself accountable, you're more likely to follow through on your commitments. But accountability becomes even stronger when you involve others, whether it's a friend, a mentor, or a support group. Having someone who checks in on your progress can keep you on track and motivated. Knowing that someone else is aware of your goals and expects you to stick to them creates a sense of responsibility. There are many ways to build accountability into your life. You can share your goals with a friend who will regularly check in with you, join a group of people with similar goals, or even use social media to publicly track your progress. The key is to find an accountability method that works for you and aligns with your personality. Some people thrive with public accountability, while others prefer more private one-on-one check-ins. Whatever method you choose, the external pressure of accountability can help you stay disciplined even when your internal motivation starts to waver. Another crucial strategy for sustaining self-discipline is focusing on small wins. It's easy to get discouraged when your goals feel far away or unattainable, but celebrating small victories along the way can help maintain your momentum. These small wins provide a sense of progress and accomplishment, reinforcing the positive behaviors that build discipline. Each time you achieve a small goal, it gives you the motivation to keep going, making the larger goal feel more within reach. For example, if your goal is to write a book, don't focus solely on the end result. Celebrate the fact that you wrote a page today, completed a chapter, or finished outlining a section. These small milestones add up and keep you moving forward. Focusing on the process rather than just the outcome helps you stay